The morning I realized 12 buildings stood on my dirt, I set my coffee mug down so hard the spoon rang like a bell. Out by the pasture, my father's flag moved slow on the pole, the way it does when the air itself is holding its breath. And I told myself one quiet line: don't swing first. Learn first. From my porch. You can see the south pasture and a thin row of scrub oaks marking an old boundary line only the elders remember. I've walked that line since I was a kid. My grandfather carved it with cedar posts squared by hand. If you look close, you can still see the axe marks. But surveyors today don't look close. They look at screens. For weeks, I'd heard nail guns and diesel engines. Figured the HOA across the county road was adding amenities. They love that word. I mow my own grass. They form committees about it. Then one afternoon the trees opened like a curtain, and there they were, 12 metal roofs. Blue-gray, lined up neat as pews. The far corners sat right on my grandfather's line. I walked the gravel down in my boots. The foreman had a sunburned neck and a clipboard that made him feel tall. "Can I help you?" he asked like he already owned the place. "You can tell me where your survey says this line is?" said he pointed to a pink ribbon whipping on a fiberglass stake. "Fresh paint. New plastic. No cedar posts in sight." "That your line?" I asked. "That's the HOA's line," he said proudly. "Storage units. Workspace suites. Pre-leased. We're on schedule." I looked at those buildings, 12 square mouths swallowing my land. My first feeling was anger. My second was disbelief. My third, the one my father drilled into me, was patience. You don't chase a wasp nest with a hammer. You stand back, watch where they land, then smoke them out. "I'm going to take a few pictures," I said, "and I'm going to be neighborly. You boys finish what you started." He squinted, unsure if I was joking. I wasn't. I took my pictures, nodded, and walked home with hands cold even though the sun was warm. That night, I pulled the old deed from my father's metal box, still smelling of machine oil and rain. One page crisp white, my refinance copy. The other brown at the edges. My grandfather's plat signed with a shaky pencil X after the flood of '62. The meets and bounds read like a riddle, beginning at the iron pin by the sycamore. Thence north-northwest to the cedar posts. Next morning, I drove to the county clerk. He's the kind of man who knows where everything is because he's the one who filed it. We rolled out the drawer, and he laid the book down like a Bible. We traced the line with our fingers. He made a small sound in his throat. "Looks like whoever did the HOA survey never reconciled the 1979 correction," he said. "They shifted a strip when the road was widened. Your family kept the original boundary. The HOA moved theirs 27 feet north." 27 feet, I said. "And 12 buildings," he nodded. "All of them trespassing." I could have called a deputy that afternoon, but every nail they drove was another nail in my case. Sometimes a wrong has to get big enough to be undeniable. The HOA president called me first. You could hear her smile through the phone. Practiced, polite. "We understand you're confused about the new development," she said. "It's fully permitted." "Permitted in the wrong place is still wrong," I said. "You built on my ground." "That's simply not accurate," she snapped. "Then you won't mind a meeting. Bring your survey. I'll bring mine. And bring your title rep too. We don't involve title until closing issues arise," she said. "Closing has arrived," I told her. "You closed on air. I'm the ground. Then we'll circle back." They didn't. Instead, they sent the foreman to hang a chain and a sign. "Private HOA project, trespassers prosecuted." They drilled it into my soil with concrete anchors. My anger rolled back in like thunder. I brewed a strong cup, sat on the porch, and stared at their sign while the flag whispered in the breeze. When the cup was empty, I called my attorney, a quiet man from church who loves boundary law the way some men love baseball stats. I sent him the photos and plat records. He called within the hour. "If you can stand it," he said, "let them finish. The damages will be clear. They're building your case for you, so I waited. Watched every night. I made notes like a farmer tracking the weather. Unit 4 doors installed. Unit 7, HVAC delivered. Sign moved 6 feet west. I learned the crew's names. Shook hands at the gas station. None of it was their fault. When the grand opening banner went up, blue letters. 2 exclamation points. I ironed my shirt and slipped the deed into a manila envelope. The HOA president showed up in a red blazer, scissors in hand. A county commissioner smiled for pictures. They clapped, they cheered. And that's when I stepped forward. "Ma'am," I said calmly, holding out the envelope. "You'll want to see this before you hand out keys." She blinked. "Then read the clerk's certified seal, the 1979 correction. The cedar post boundary her survey ignored." Her smile collapsed. "We have permits," she whispered. "I'm not arguing permits," I said. "I'm showing you dirt. You built on the wrong dirt." The commissioner's grin died by inches. He excused himself to make a phone call. 10 minutes later, the first lawyer arrived. 30 minutes after that, a deputy. He scanned the papers my attorney filed and nodded once. "Ma'am, on advice of counsel, you'll need to halt operations until this is resolved." She turned to me, all the charm drained away. "What do you want?" "Justice," I said. Then softer, "A fair deal." The deal took weeks. They tried bullying first letters about how I'd benefited from their improvements, hints about liens. My attorney replied with 1 page, "Remove the encroachment or buy the land at market value plus damages, fees, and daily trespass rent." Turns out title insurance and performance bonds exist for exactly this reason in the end. They did what they should have done day one. Came to my porch. No blazers. No cameras. Just humility. "We can't move the buildings," she said. "It'd bankrupt us. The title company will fund a purchase if you'll sell the strip." "I'll sell," I said, "under 2 conditions." She braced. "Name them." "First, you pay my appraiser's price, full market, plus legal fees. Second, that end unit becomes a free community workshop for veterans for 10 years. No rent." Her eyes flared. "We can't. You can," I said. "Or start tearing down building 1 today." "Your call." I glanced toward my father's flag. It snapped once, sharp and clean. She exhaled. "Deal." The check cleared. The quitclaim recorded. They came back to remove that trespassers prosecuted sign, carried it away like a bad idea. They poured new corner caps where the cedar posts once stood. I kept 1 post, sanded it, oiled it, set it by my porch with my father's mug resting on top. Now every Saturday, you can hear veterans laughing inside that end unit they turned into a wood shop. When the doors roll up, the scent of cut pine drifts across the gravel like forgiveness. Did I win? I don't measure it that way. My land is smaller by a strip, but my dignity's larger by miles. I didn't yell. I didn't fight dirty. I simply made them honor the lines my grandfather carved before any of them were born. That night, after the settlement cleared, I took my coffee out to the porch. The flag moved slow again, easy, like the day I first noticed those roofs. The lake caught the sunset. My boots were muddy from setting a new corner stake. I thought about Granddad's pencil, X about my father's advice to breathe before speaking. And I smiled, because patience had done what anger never could. Here's what I learned: 1 clean truth. If you know your ground, you don't have to shout to stand on it. Have you ever faced an HOA like this? Share your story in the comments. I read every one. And if you believe some fights are worth having, hit subscribe. We'll stand together, calm, steady, and on solid ground.